Isn't that a nice little ditty that we had then? I wasn't expecting that. Oh, lovely, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, you're straight in. It's that. In fact, I put you on the screen a few minutes ago. It's that part of the show, people, where we have our introducing section when we bring our special guests on that Janice arranges for us, and we've got the far north. Tell us a bit about yourself, man. Love that track, by the way. Love that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, alternative country, bit folky, bit Americana, a bit indie, from Runcorn in England, the UK there. And yeah, I've been doing it now for about 5 years. It's my third album's about to come out. And I was in a band called the Fireflies for nearly 15 years. That was a lot of fun, did a lot of stuff with those guys and kind of went my own way, Fleetwood Mac style, about 5 years ago. Yeah, just in COVID. So here we are, new single, new album. It's flown, I tell you.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, man. Love it, love it, Thanks. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, because I was like, I can't find the track on the playlist, Jan. Where is it? She went, I've sent it you, idiot. And then I found, and then she sent it me again. I did find it. So yeah, it says Far North, a solo project of British musician, launched around mid 2019. Fantastic. So what made you go on your own? Was you fed up with everyone else in the band and that, and it was getting you in your nerves?
Yeah. We the last thing we did was the Hugh Stevens sponsored coffee house sessions. We did that in 2019. 6 of us out on tour, playing like 2 universities a day, and I just had enough, really. Like they say, a camel is a horse designed by committee, and just too many people involved. And,
I know.
And I always just wanted to play my tunes acoustically, and I just wanted to do this basically, and here we are. It's taken a while, though. It took a while to kind of get going with it. But like the first album, Songs for Gentle Souls, dropped in COVID. We had the first radio play, and all the rest of it was in COVID. So there was no gigs to do. We didn't pick up till I started gigging with the Sunbirds a year later. So, but this time, obviously, it's a very different landscape.
Yeah, we should do more of these bedroom interviews, shouldn't we? Because you're in someone's bedroom. Bedroom.
Well, I think it's mine. Hopefully, well, it's either mine or they don't know.
Well, tell us about all the shizzle behind you, because you've got a wacky bed there with. Let me change the screen a bit so everyone can see it better. But yeah.
Yeah, it's all Halloween stuff, because we're coming into Halloween, you see.
Yeah.
So there's like a Halloween bedspread and pumpkins and all my little Freddy Krueger figures and stuff like that. So I like to represent. I actually had a T-shirt with Michael Myers on it, but it just didn't. I wasn't feeling it, so I went with Manic Street Preachers instead. So
I love it. I'll change the view again so we're a bit close up. Brilliant. So that track's not out yet that you've just released. Do you give?
No, it's out in 2 sleeps, as we say in Runcorn.
2 sleeps. Oh, you're in Runcorn. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So that'll be on all the major download platforms, will it, I suppose?
I think so. Yeah, I'm hoping it will be. I reckon it will. Yeah. But, I kind of ache for the days of getting CD singles in Asda, That would have been really nice to have picked it up in Asda or Tesco.
I know, it's great. I mean, I always wanted a jukebox, and, that was one thing that I always wanted to get. I was going to get my phone, but I'm using my phone here. But we've got it in the phone, haven't we? So there's some massive advantages of that and massive disadvantages, because I've got loads of records about and CDs, and I think there's something about having a physical copy of something, really. You get more personally attached to it rather than throw away, let's get the next track on.
I think it adds value to it, yeah. I mean, we do, CDs, and I think if there's going to be enough demand for this, we could do kind of a best of, so put the last 3 albums together on vinyl. That would be like a really nice thing to do, something we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
But it does add a little bit of value to it, but obviously on my socials, it's just me that runs all my socials. So when I'm chatting to people, there's never a tweet or a message that goes unread. You know what I mean? I do try and reply to everyone, because you don't have that physical thing anymore. So it's nice to have that interaction, with whoever.
And I think that's where I bang on about all the time to bands about being more interactive and do behind the scenes. But one of the big things that people don't do that should do is reply to everything that comes in, because otherwise, if I've spent the time, people are lazy, and if I've spent the time to say, I think your track's great or whatever it is, and you get no reply, well, I'm going to move on somewhere else, because I you know what I mean? I'm like, and I think it's important.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I was playing a computer game recently, and it was about this cat, and it goes around it's on Xbox. It's like an indie game, I think it's called Crypt Keeper or something like that, and it's just an indie game on the Xbox Store, and it's about a black cat that just kind of goes along, and he hits these pots, and the ghosts of these other cats, and he has to capture them and send them back to the afterlife or whatever, right? And I was playing it, and it was a really nice game. It was recently, and my black cat, Mr. Jinx, died recently. It was really painful, so I kind of reached out to the developer and was like, "This is such a beautiful little game. This is like such a, kind of antithesis of the likes of Call of Duty or Dead by Daylight and the big hitters." And it was just this lovely afternoon playing it. And for like a month, the guy never got back to me. And I was like, and I was thinking like, oh, I've kind of poured my heart out in this little tweet kind of thing. And then he was like, "Oh, I was away on holiday. Thanks for liking the game." And I was like, "Oh, no way." So it was really, really nice. But to get that reply off someone that you've kind of put a bit of effort in is really nice.
Now I'm disappointed because I thought you were going to say your cat is now in one of them things, and when it comes out, your black cat comes out. He should have done that.
That would be nice. It is. He is
that.
in an urn. He's in an urn downstairs, but I've not had the urge to crack it open yet. You never know. You never know.
No, I don't mean you. I mean in the game. It should be in the game, shouldn't it?
In the game, yeah. That would be nice. It's kind of that, It's kind of beautiful.
So going back to the song we've just listened to, it's quite a big sound there, and you're a solo artist. So where does all that sound come from? Do you have session singers? Do you play it all yourself? What is it?
It's my friends really. So I have a producer, and he like runs the studio and stuff, and he's one of my like long-time friends, so he kind of gets it. And we have like a mutual love of the likes of City and Colour and Ray LaMontagne and that kind of like folky kind of music. So we sat down about a year and a half ago, and I was like, I really want to make a folk album, man. My heart is just in this genre and always has been. I just want it to be earnest and real, these songs that I'm writing. And he was like, "Yeah, but how do we do this and make it so real? Like, how do we?" So we just went into the studio and we just kind of really played it by ear, So he plays the percussion on it. I've got a friend called Jack who he plays piano, and then there's a guy that plays like the really flourishy guitar, a guy called Tony, and then there's we have a guy on fiddle who played it. He's a session guy, but John knew him, called Charlie. Charlie West, so West meets Far North, and he plays the fiddle on it, and it's beautiful, really. So yeah, it's kind of a load of hired hands, I suppose, but like really, they're all my friends. And the gig we've got coming up, like everyone's kind of, it's a full band gig for the first time in the Far North history. So that's going to be really nice, and it's all the people that pretty much played on the album. So, I couldn't do it on my own. I play a very rudimentary piano, I play the lead guitar on it, and I play harmonica and bass. But other than that, it's everyone else that can do it better than me.
Absolutely wonderful. But that track would lend itself to a nice TV show, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like an upbeat TV show. It'd be really cool.
It's really weird you should say that. There's a guy, I played the British Country Music Festival a few months ago, and it was a huge, huge, huge gig. It was so good. And I was sharing the stage with Jade Halliwell and Tara McLean, which we did a songwriter round, and it was like, oh my God, these incredible songwriters. And there was a guy there, and he's a producer, and he does I think he did Agatha Raisin and a load of other stuff, and he got in contact with me a few months ago and was like, "I'm so into your music, I want to use one of your songs for my upcoming Northern gritty drama." And I was like, "No way." And I looked him up, and we've been chatting since, and he's coming to the show. So you don't know what's going to happen.
No, that's brilliant. Yeah, you see, I don't know, I'm just about learning the drums, but I listen to stuff and go, well, that'd be brilliant. I'm watching I forget what it's called now, the Guinness program at the minute. House of Guinness.
House of Guinness.
It's absolutely fantastic. That I love that. Yeah, you should have your stuff on there. One of your tracks would be wonderful on that. So
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I think it would. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions for people in the audience. I will find out. It's pretty basic here. They're in Brazil. That's all he says.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about your basic setup that you use at your shows.
So usually it's just me. It's just my acoustic guitar and harmonica and me singing. That is always it, And then obviously for the first time ever, we're doing a full band show now. But yeah, it's just literally that, and it's quite liberating really, because I can turn up anywhere, and play to 3,000 people, or play to 300 people, or play to 3 people. It's kind of one size fits all kind of guitar thing.
That's interesting. So you've done not the big band sound, but the big throwing everything at it for the album. But when you're doing it, you're almost doing like an acoustic session, but in a folk style.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's going to be some opportunities for next year where I think it's going to be the full band. I think there's going to be a couple of dates. I've had a few offers. for gigs up in the northeast as well recently. And they're like, we want fiddle and acoustic guitar, or we just want the piano or whatever, So sometimes venues are a little, they stipulate, what they want. But I'm lucky because I've kind of got that, I've got a drummer and a bassist and all that. But when all else fails, it's just me really.
Cool. It's probably a general, normal question, but what inspired you to start doing music? Was it a particular song or a band that you went, oh, I want to do that. That's what I want to do when I grow up, type of thing.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I don't think I'll ever grow up. I think that I was super young. I was probably like 11 or 10, and I started getting into like 10 by Pearl Jam and Nirvana's Nevermind. And one of my friends at school gave me a tape with both on different sides of the tape, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like it awakened something I never knew was there. So my closest friends, John and Quinn, they both played guitar and bass, and we had a friend called Matt that played the drums, and I was like, what are the chances of this? I should really because I was really into art and drawing and being a cartoonist. So I thought I'm going to shelve that and maybe get into a band. And during that time, Green Day Dookie came out about '94. Then obviously there was a few things by the Lemonheads, and then obviously Oasis hit, and the Britpop as they call it under the umbrella. The likes of I was lucky enough in my first band Warp to play with a lot of those bands back in the '90s, the likes of Dodgy and the Blue Tones and Suede and that. And
Nice.
And that was it really, just really good guitar based music. And the older you get, you kind of realize that you're in a bit of a funnel and you don't see outside of it too much. So the older I got, I kind of really got into the Smiths, and then it was like Fleetwood Mac, Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen, City and Colour, Uncle Tupelo, all those kind of bands really, and Wilco, and it just kind of started going backwards, and that's where I am now. It's like I can't consume enough music right now. I just can't. I listen to Spotify pretty much all day, every day, or Apple or whatever. I know Spotify's the devil at the moment, but I listen to, independent radio and independent everything, just trying to, see what's kind of happening out there. And I take influence from so much guitar music, like not so much the homemade synthy kind of music that people are into, like that. That's whatever they're into, But it's never really been something that I kind of wanted to. It's always verse, chorus, verse for me, and as derivative that might be, there's just something, there's an ingredient in A, E, D, G, C that just and when I'm writing a song as well, I'll just play those chords that I've played a million times, but that one time it's different, and it's like, oh hang on, I've got a song here. It's really strange how it all works, but yeah, I just can't consume. I'm a massive music fan first and foremost.
Brilliant. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, Spotify's the McDonald's of music, in it, really.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. The fast food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It is, like I said, it's a double-edged sword in it, because we can consume loads of it, and bands can put stuff up there, but it's just a sea of it.
Yeah.
This is. I've got a little question here for you. If you could collaborate with any Americana artist, living or past, who would it be and why?
Yeah, it would be Dallas Green, so AKA City and Colour, Dallas City Green Colour. He's one of my favourites, and I used to live in Canada back in 2007, and I was lucky enough to see him playing in Vancouver, in downtown Van, as they call it. And I was with one of my friends, and he was just playing stuff from his Sometimes album, his first very raw acoustic album. And he's the singer in one of the singers in Alexis on Fire. And I was like, oh my God, it just changed my life there and then. Even though I was technically in a band called the Fireflies, and we were, kind of like quote unquote a rock band, I always wanted to play that kind of music. So to get an offer, or to collaborate even over Zoom or whatever with Dallas, to create some kind of heartfelt music, because he is, for me, he is probably one of the best songwriters like ever. He's up there for me, with the greats. I really do see that, and I just don't think he gets enough. That's why I put him in my playlist. I put that in my playlist and a few other things. And I just thought he doesn't get enough credit, and I just think his songwriting is unmatched, if I'm honest with you. And I don't see myself as that level kind of songwriter. I've got a lot to prove, so just keep on going. But yeah, it'd be Dallas Green.
Awesome. What was you doing in Canada
Pretty much bumming about, I kind of got a visa, and I just went out there and met some friends, stayed with some friends. I was out there on and off for about 3 years. And it was great. It was a time I look back. I was in my 20s. I was a young lad. Let's say it was 20 years ago, So it's just something that I think everyone should do, forget mortgages and forget the rest of it. When you're in your 20s, there's this kind of, I don't know if it's a road that everyone has to go down, but to have a nice car, you've got to have a nice job, and to have a nice house, you need to earn. But instead, just kind of go traveling, just kind of
Yeah.
experience the world. It's not all about getting a mortgage and having kids immediately. There is so much to do. I'm not saying, you could have children and then later on in your 40s or 50s, you could go traveling the world, but people don't tend to be as spontaneous in their 40s or 50s. So, my advice to anyone really, not that anyone asked, would be to, to get out
No,
and,
yeah,
you know.
travelling is my lad. Disappointingly, but I was chuffed as well. Last November, we came back from Guernsey. He went, "Oh, by the way, jack me job in. He had a good job, and I'm moving to Bangkok." So there you go.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
yeah, cool, man.
he's just
Yeah,
come
yeah.
home for a month, but he's been there for nearly, we've been over to see him, and it just
Yeah.
opens you up. I did it the opposite way around. I was in my 30s and went through a divorce and ended up going to
Yeah.
Holland for a year. But I'd urge anybody to, you're right, go travel
Yeah.
because it opens you up. It gives you a different appreciation of the world, what's going out there, and you can always
Yeah.
earn money later on, can you? So I agree.
Oh man, yeah, and a lot of people are trapped in this, like they want nicer things, so they have to keep, for me, not for me, like, but the dream, like, why is everyone working 50, 60 hours a week in these soul crushing jobs just it's, I think he said it in Fight Club, Chuck Palahniuk, it's like buying stuff, working a job that you don't need for, stuff you don't need, and buying stuff you don't need, and all the rest of it. We're stuck in that kind of treadmill, and people
It's
don't see
mad.
a way out of it.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
People are going to work to pay for the car to go to work, aren't they? Do
It's
you know what I mean? It's
people
like,
don't
woof.
break out of it.
It's,
Yeah, people don't break out of that. They can't see it. But
it, it is mad. There was a question I had then. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, that's it. So the scene, obviously, the folk scene, it's not mainstream as in, the popular music.
yeah,
What's the scene like? Is it a big underground scene, a bit like the UK country scene? Because that's
yeah,
quite a lot of people into that.
yeah. There's an awful lot of people into it. My guitarist Tony, he's a member of loads of local folk scenes, and a little factoid, and I didn't know this. I thought he was joking. Is Helsby and Frodsham, which is literally a couple of miles down the road there, is the folk capital of Europe. Right, and that is true. Yeah, honestly, when he told me, I was like, no way. But it's true, and there is so many bluegrass and folk clubs around here. It's
Wow.
quite shocking, really. But I don't tend to participate in it too much. I don't really do like open mics or like local pub
Right.
gigs or anything like that. I never have. So for me, I'm always kind of like a bit of a bystander. I'm kind of like watching it all and Phil really. But it's a big underground scene. I think the only criticism I'd have of it is it's incredibly aging. Not to sound ageist, but it's like if you turn up at a folk club and you're like under 75, there's a little bit of that kind of elitism. It's like, well, you're not singing
Mm.
the trad songs of the 30s or something. There's a little bit of
Yeah,
that, man. There's
I know, and that's what I used to do a country show, and I didn't play anything before like 2000s. You know what I mean? 220. You know what I mean? It was
yeah.
all more modern. Sorry about that. My bloody emails on. It's more modern stuff, and then a lot of
Yeah.
people were expecting the older stuff, and I prefer the newer stuff. And I do like a bit of bluegrass as well. Bluegrass, for some reason,
Yeah.
I would never have said I liked it. When I started doing the show, more and more I did the show, the more I got into bluegrass. There's something about that that just hits it, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
very it's got that visceral heart thing, It's like for me, it's like folk music and the early like Woody Guthrie stuff and the Bob Dylan stuff, like the early stuff from like '62 and obviously the Newport and Joan Baez, all that kind of stuff. I listen to it and I just enjoy it so much. I am relatively new to that, really. I would say the last 5 or 10 years,
Yeah.
it wasn't something I was always into, but I'm so into it now, and I really enjoyed the Dylan biopic. I thought, Timothy Chalamet, and I saw the Springsteen biopic the other night. The Deliverers from Nowhere, and it's really worth a watch. It's the year between doing Nebraska, then Born in the USA. It's quite something,
Ah.
really. But yeah,
That's interesting because I interviewed an artist last night and he does a lot of Bruce Springsteen stuff and he's touring UK and he's playing with another guy that I interviewed the other week who's known as the North Yorkshire Springsteen. So it's come up a few times this last couple of weeks.
right, okay,
Interesting
yeah,
stuff. Do you do anything?
omnipresent.
Have you done anything? Yeah. Have you done anything out of the UK? You just stayed in the UK? Or have you done any?
Mainly in the UK, yeah. When I lived in Canada, I did a lot of acoustic shows over there, in like coffee shops and bars and stuff,
Yeah.
in downtown Van. So I did quite a few shows there, really. But other than that, I've always been open to offers. It's not for not having offers. I get offers to play overseas quite a lot. Especially like the Netherlands and out in like Germany. People say, oh, but sometimes you got to think, well, is it worth it in terms of like the money you'd spend and
Yeah.
going over and playing to 100 people? I always want to do it, but sometimes you're a little bit kind of locked and you think, okay, it's not really worth kind of going over. If I was doing a tour or something like that, that's a different kind of box of skills. But I think like one-off and gigs and stuff. But I'm always open to it depending on what the offer is.
Well, you never know. Someone might want you over there and get you involved. I just thought I'd ask the question.
Yeah.
Manta Ray, really interesting interview. This. Oh, thank you, Manta Ray. It's a compliment. I'll say,
Thanks, Mansour.
I'll say it's down to me guest, not to me, because he's the one that's the interesting person. I'm just asking him questions.
Yeah.
So what's the plans for the future then? What have you got in the pipeline? We've obviously had the track that's not released yet. It's two sleeps away.
Yeah, two sleeps away, man. We've got the album out on the 21st of November, and then we've got the album launch, and then I'm just getting pepperins of bookings for the UK at the moment. So, like I say, there's two potentially late January up in Newcastle, and there's a couple in Liverpool, Manchester, one in I think Edinburgh. So I keep getting these little offers, and then it's kind of tying them all together then to do the tour and stuff. And the second single from the album is going to be Hummingbird. That's going to be out in January. Going to do the video for that, and just kind of promote it, best I can, next year.
Nice. A couple of messages there you might appreciate. Pretty basic there over in Brazil. I told you that. Yes, we've heard it, the track. But since he speaks so well, let's listen to the entire discography. His musical knowledge seems very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, Gallagher's Green, they're up in the northwest. He says, I'm loving this guy.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you, everyone.
It is good, isn't it? It's nice, isn't it? Take it, man. Take it. It's wonderful.
No, I love it. Yeah, people say that to me a lot. They're like, "Why are you so, self-effusing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm just a big music fan. I just like music, and I go and see a lot of local bands as well. And it's always nice just to. I do think like people in bands there's this elitism where it's just like, oh, we're doing this or we're doing that, or I don't know, just get out there and support live music and other bands, man. It doesn't matter if they're Oasis or they're the Far North, or they're a guy. It's just three guys in a garage doing Green Day. Go and see them.
Oh, is that a name of a band? Three Guys in the Garage. I like that. We should have that one. No, you're right. I think it yes, there's a time and a place to go and see the big bands, but let's face it, they've had not had the day, but they don't need your support and your money. But yeah, by all means, go and watch them. But don't turn your back on the people that are out there, grassroots, doing it, because we play on this show. We listen to the tracks. Janice spends a lot of time, and you go, wow. Why aren't they massive? Wow, why aren't they massive? And it's just a numbers game, isn't it? And people are getting to know it. So, big GPR Mountain Song is one of my tracks of the year. There you go.
That's a nice thing to say. Thank you, Eden.
That is lovely. It's not mine, but I like it.
It's not mine either, mate.
Pretty Basic says, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, well, the YouTube is the record label that I'm signed to are called Red Lantern Records. So if you go to Red Lantern's YouTube, there's other videos that I've done for previous albums, and there's some live stuff on there. It's pretty rudimentary though, like my live output thus far. It's always just me and a guitar, and you learn your craft over a few years. So I like to say things are improving ever so slightly now.
Brilliant.
There's some surprises on there, I think.
Brilliant. Before I forget, because I sometimes forget, can you do us an artist drop by saying, this is the Far North and you're listening to Dougie Stone Radio?
This is the Far North and you're listening to Dougie Stone Radio.
Brilliant. Without a blink of an eye, bush straight in there. Because then I play them on the show, you see. That's the idea. We play them on the show.
Cool, man. I appreciate all the support. I really do.
It's cool. It's cool. You're a very real... Is anything I've not asked you that you'd like to get out there, say to people, or... You know what I mean? Is there anything I've not?
Well, on the album. There's a few. I write about stuff that's real to me. And obviously, Mountain Song is about an incredibly painful breakup. It kind of the joyous jig at the end is obviously about realizing after a few months that when the heartache goes and you're all right, everything's going to be great and you can see the future again, And there's a few songs about that, and there's a few songs about hope and faith. But
Nice.
there's a song called Release Repeat about veganism on there, and how we just turn the blind eye to obviously the suffering of the animals and the way they're treated on the way to their untimely demise, called Release Repeat. And and that's just something that's been close to my heart as well. So that's just something that I wanted to write about, maybe for the first time. Like, I was in the studio, and there's like a backwards bit that we kind of reversed and then flipped again.
Right.
And I think it says something like, if I told you that you could contribute to the non-suffering of animals, would you believe me? It says it backwards, like a ghostly kind of thing. And me and Jono, the producer, kind of got into it, really, because we were like, there's a message in that song. I've never been preachy. I do believe in each to their own, but I just had this urge just to write this song, for I don't know how many vegan songs there are. I remember Meat is Murder by the Smiths that turned me vegetarian in 2005, that song, it really did.
Really?
And then I don't see much of an output, really, unless it's people standing outside, like WH Smith, with videos of pigs getting their throats slit, and I don't think that's the way to get through to people. I don't think that's it.
Not
I think
really.
not really. It's very it's quite verbose, and a lot of it, So yeah.
Yeah, fair play. Well, I won't tell you I used to be a butcher, but there you go.
Hey man, there we go. Hey, like I say, it's their own, dude.
No, it is. And I've interviewed a friend of mine's a vegan. I interviewed him, and we came to we're opposing sides, but came to the same conclusion of eat whole foods, eat the right food, eat nice, because a lot of vegans out there eat absolute junk, and they think they're doing themselves any good. So if you want to not eat meat, please don't just eat all the processed crap. Eat something that's been, you produce yourself. Someone said, are you on Instagram? And Big GPR says, yes, under the Far North. So he's on there.
Yeah, the Far North Music, I think. Far North Music on Instagram.
Oh yeah, the Far North Music. You're right. You're Far North Music.
Yeah, I'm quite active on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. I'm quite active on there, really. A lot. It's just a really great vehicle for just obviously sharing stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And at first, when you've got like a couple of hundred followers or whatnot, but I think I've got I think it's like 4,000 maybe, which obviously isn't a massive number, but it's nice,
mate,
and people get in contact, and it's nice.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, does it? I've got, I think on my Instagram, I've got about 2,000, 1,800, 2,000. But
yeah,
I think followers now is going down. It's not about the followers potentially. It's about what you're putting out there, and the algorithm goes, oh, you're talking about whatever someone's talking about, and
it's the quality of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's pushing it to the people. And I'm guilty of putting far too much other crap on me Instagram than just music, and I just I shoot myself in the foot a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, I stopped putting like just random stuff on there, really, just random facile stuff on there, and started to put stuff on like the veganism stuff. And I went to watch that film about Tourette's a few weeks ago. I Swear, the one about John Davidson that suffered with Tourette's in the 80s. No one knew it as a recognised disease, really, and I have it. I have had it since I was about 6. Yeah. And we filmed. Well, my last 2 posts had well over 500,000 interactions. Just me talking about Tourette's, really, and people kind of reaching out. But it's funny because I got the edit back of my new video today, right? And I think it's at like 3 minutes 54. I do this massive tick, right? And I said to the director today, I was like, I don't know if we should leave that in, because no one else would notice it, but it is for me just kind of going like that and doing this massive, this jerk kind of thing. I was a bit embarrassed by it a bit, and he was like, but it's who you are.
Correct.
So why don't we keep it in,
Correct.
So a lot of people have reached out about that, the last couple of weeks as well. Just like a lot of people have realize that it doesn't have to be the verbal tics, but a lot of mine is physical, and a lot of like parents have been talking about their kids that they've had it and suffered, so a lot of people reached out. Thousands and thousands of people reached out on Facebook and Instagram the last month since that film came out, and it's been quite nice, really, being able to talk to like-minded people that suffer with the condition.
Yeah, well, I'm dyslexic. I didn't find out till I was 44, and it doesn't define you, but it explains a lot. And there's another guy out there, and he's the Tourette's barber. Have you seen any of his stuff?
Yeah, I have. Funnily enough, he was one of the people yeah,
He's
he was one
brilliant.
of the people that got in contact. Yeah,
And he gets lads, keep other people in it that do it as well. There's lad, he's
yeah,
effing and jeffing at him, and and
yeah.
giving it all that. Wonderful, mate. And yeah, rock with it. Seriously, rock with that.
Hey man,
Definitely.
I've been suppressing it and keeping it
No,
secret for
don't,
years,
man.
and
Rock with it.
you know,
I think we've all got our uniqueness, and I think
yeah.
you should embrace that uniqueness, whatever it is, and run with it. And I think it'll do you the world of good. And listen,
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna have to let you go, mate, because we've rattled on for ages,
I
and
don't even know how long we've been talking, but it feels
but
like 5 minutes.
about half an hour. And
No way, man. I
yeah,
could talk for another half an hour.
I
Let's do
know we
that.
could. Well, let's let's get you. We need to carry on with the show. Let's get you on
Yeah.
again. Speak to Janice, and we'll hook up and do
Cool, man. Yeah, I'd love that,
show.
mate.
And
I'd love that,
we could
Kirk.
dive a bit deeper into Tourette's and veganism and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
whatever.
man, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
you're an absolutely talented guy. Great to talk to, very
Thank you.
interesting. I could chat to you for absolutely hours. And sometimes that's what's wrong with this show, because we've got it in between the show, in between music. It's sort of, I feel a bit guilty sometimes moving the guests on. But you're wonderful, man. You take care.
Hey,
Yeah?
thanks. I really appreciate having me on. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time, and good luck with everything you're doing with the music. Go and follow him on all the social media, people, and go and listen to his music as it gets released.
Yeah, the far north, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, the far north. Don't forget that. Wonderful. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers,
Ta-ra,
buddy.
mate. Ta-ra.
Cheers.
Ta-ra.